Cute Mexican girls, on the other hand.
To think that people would say something like that to someone who is probably trying their damnedest to learn the language, it's infuriating. What's up, Tangerinis? I'm Maddie.
And I'm Jordan.
And we are Tangerine Travels. Today we're hitting you with some hopefully useful information. We're talking about things that are difficult, hard, or impossible to find in Mexico that we never would have guessed. For instance, high quality linens like towels or sheets can either be really hard to find in Mexico or much more expensive or equally priced to what you'd find in the US. And also things like...
You know, we've been surprised. It's really hard to find an asshole here. Everyone's... yeah. Everyone's just so nice and patient and kind.
They're so damn pleasant all the time. You hardly ever find someone who's acting like an asshole. You just can't find them. If you've watched our videos from the beginning, you may have heard this one before. It's that in certain parts of Mexico, it's pretty difficult to find coffee. And there might be coffee, but what we're talking about is the Nescafe powdered instant turn your stomach kind of coffee is very common in the state of Sonora, for instance. Here it's not so bad, but there are parts of Mexico where if you want a good quality cup of joe, you're gonna be hard pressed to find it.
When you first come here, it can really be difficult to find anything you don't know like what stores sell what the grocery stores are called, what to search for on Google.
Yeah. And if you're used to something like, oh, I need something, I'm just gonna hop on Amazon Prime and have it delivered to me, that's not really a thing. And for instance, if everything that you usually buy comes from Target doesn't exist here, so, or at least we've never seen one. What else is hard to find? Well, pretty much anything related to frozen food, prepackaged food, processed food, preservative-filled, chemical-filled, artificial dye-filled food, and we are so freaking happy about that. Oh my gosh. I don't want to find that anywhere here in Mexico.
Well, you know, something else I thought was difficult to find were cute white girls, but thankfully I found one. Cute Mexican girls, on the other hand, they're all over the place.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Another thing that can be pretty difficult to find in Mexico is unsweetened drinks, and this is anything from agua frescas or teas already have sugar and everything in them. Of course, we're not talking about fresh squeezed juice. They do not add sugar to fresh squeezed orange juice or carrot juice, as far as we know anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, we were just in Oxxo yesterday and I was looking for a bottled juice without added sugar, and almost every single one of them had added sugar. So if you're buying fresh squeezed juice on the street, then yeah, that's going to be pure juice. Something else I've noticed is it's very difficult to find lazy people here. Everyone's working for their money.
And they're working damn hard too. This is kind of a random one, but it actually is pretty difficult to find free public bathrooms. No, you don't have to pay a whole lot to use a restroom. It's something between usually like 2 to 5 pesos, but still that's something that's common in the US. You go to stores or malls, things like that, and the bathrooms are free. Here, they aren't always.
Yeah, if you're a client at a restaurant, you'll be able to use their bathroom for free, or if you're at a mall, they usually have free bathrooms, but most other places, I don't think they do. Another thing that's difficult to find here is electronics at a reasonable price. Yes, there are electronics and things like that available.
And you can sometimes find them at a decent value, but yeah, for the most part...
For example, there's a DSLR camera that I bought in the US. I got it on sale for $350. Here, the same exact camera was $1,000.
US dollars, not
Yes. And we were at a store the other day, and one thing I did find that was more reasonable was this GoPro Hero 6, priced at about $450 US, which is the first electronics item that I've seen that it's comparable to the US prices.
And this is even true of places like Costco, which usually have better deals on electronics and stuff like that. Of course, we've said this in other videos. Costco, you really don't save much money there. It's at least equal to what you would pay in the US, sometimes more. As we're running for our lives across the street, we remembered another one. It is not that common to see crosswalk signs here in Mexico, and this has actually been true in almost every city we visited. Yes, there are some in some areas, but for the most part, you have to look both ways, cross your fingers, and run for your freaking life.
In some parts of the country, it's difficult to find air conditioning. Thankfully, these are mostly the parts with more moderate temperatures that don't really need them most of the year. But even businesses, a lot of times, you won't have them.
Yeah, so in Guadalajara, for instance, if you were looking for an apartment that has air conditioning, you're going to be looking pretty hard to find one, because they just don't really have that here because of how expensive electricity is. Another thing that's super hard to find here in Mexico is impatient people. That's right, everyone here is so patient, especially when it comes to Spanish and how we regularly butcher the language as we're trying to speak it and learn it. I am thinking back to living in the US and hearing people so often, maybe not so often, but often enough, too often, saying something like, you're in the US, speak English, or oh my gosh, can you just speak English, or learn English already, and oh, that makes me so mad and sad and upset, and hold on, we're going to the mall now. So seriously, to think that people would say something like that to someone who is probably trying their damnedest to learn the language, it's infuriating. I just... Imagine if someone said that to me here while I'm trying to learn Spanish, I would probably cry for a week straight and I might never get the courage to speak the language to someone again. So it's so great that people are so patient here, and yeah, it's embarrassing to think that people in the US would say that to someone trying to learn the language.
Are you getting deja vu right now?
I feel like I'm getting deja... Wait a minute, wait for it. I think I'm getting deja vu.
I think you scored a strike with that one.
Oh my god. So in actuality, we're thinking there's probably a whole lot more that could go onto this list of things that are harder to find in Mexico than in the US. But to be honest, when we came here, one of the things that we were trying to do is lighten our load and sell or get rid of or give away all the things that we didn't really need, that weren't really making us happy, and generally just strive for a more minimalistic lifestyle, because having things and buying things, it doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. What we really want is to have those experiences and memories like we're doing now here in Mexico. Whoa. It's a dog! It's a dog. Hi, dog. Hey. Hey, wait. Dog. Thanks for the kiss. Thanks for the kiss. Okay, that's a lot of kisses. Yeah, this list could definitely be longer, but we're really not the shopping type, nor do we have room in our suitcases or my tiny Prius, so that's about the size of it. But what we're curious is, if you've spent time in both the US and Mexico, do you have anything that you think is more difficult to find, or that you thought was sort of unexpectedly more tough to buy here in Mexico or something like that? Share those things down in the comments.
If you want some more of Tangerine Travels, follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Steam It, and all those links are down below.
And if you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up.
And hang on, let me do some stretching. Can't pull a muscle again.
Gong.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Gong that bell.
That was better. More enthusiasm.
Woohoo! Gong that bell if you want to be notified the next time we put out a new video. We try to upload one just about every single day about these adventures and shenanigans that we are having here in Mexico. See you in the next one.